Hello, everyone, and welcome. I am Ben Pick, and thank you for joining me in Running to Write. If this is your first time here, hello, welcome. Thank you for being here. It's possible you might have seen me at this past weekend's Awesome Con. So if you are new to the channel, say hi in the chat, do whatever, or comment if you're watching this after the fact. But yeah, so this past weekend, as of yesterday, Awesome Con just finished up, which was awesome. It was good and bad for a lot of different things. There was, I feel like 3 days is a good amount of time. Coming up next month will be Balticon, which will be 4 days, which will be quite draining. And I feel like I should take an extra day off when I get back from work from it, but I don't because gotta just keep turning out, make that paper. And yeah, so a 3-day thing wasn't too bad. There were definitely peaks and troughs in the crowd. Last year they had like a specific indie author section, which they didn't have this year. So I felt like I was kind of up in the big leagues with mixed in with a whole bunch of other publishers, which was a blessing and a curse. I was definitely surrounded by, there were some other indie publishers in my indie published authors in my area. And then there were definitely some professional traditionally published authors. Specifically, directly behind me, like down and over to, was Timothy Zahn, which is fantastic because I got some of these. I got all 3 of my copies signed, which is awesome. So, huzzah. There we go. Right there. Ooh. And yeah, these editions are definitely a little bit old and crusty because they're from the 90s and they show it. Also, when they were in my parents' house, they were definitely stored in the basement, and I don't want to say mold got to them, but they were not kept in the most cleanest environments. So there is that. But I still got the books. I got them signed by Timothy Zahn, which is awesome. And I did not come anywhere close to making my table back, but maybe next year I'll get there. Yeah, I am in fact warm. It's pretty cold today. This past weekend was t-shirt weather, and today dropped down to the 40s. So when I was when I was hanging around the house, and then when I was just walking now and cleaning up all the trash in my neighborhood, I put on a sweatshirt. So dressed a little bit warmer for the changing clothes. And the tablecloth is thanks to Adriana. I'm got a temporary skirt around the table. So it was this little plastic thing, just to make it look a little bit nicer, more professional. I'm going to get a tablecloth. Ooh, I need to order the tablecloth. I'm going to get a tablecloth at some point. Here we go. So I need to make a note to myself to buy a tablecloth. And I'm thinking purple. I don't know. Someone came by, told me that purple would look good with the rest of my displays, would kind of match with things. I don't know how well that'll go because I have I have blue books, I have a blue banner, and I might try to go for yellow. I have a smaller yellow tablecloth, which looks really good, makes things pop, so I might just go with that anyways. The problem is that that's only for 6 feet, and I keep forgetting that AwesomeCon gives me an 8-foot long table. It's, I guess, a nuance thing. I thought last year they gave us something, but I guess I was wrong, and everything is broken. So I'm going to order tablecloth, and now that I have that note there, I will definitely remember. Anyways, did I get a photo of Timothy Zahn? No, I did not get a photo with Timothy Zahn. I don't know. The entire con. Well, first of all, every con I see people just nerding out with him. But I also saw. Thank you. They did have skirts on the table last year. I thought that we had some kind of covering that I didn't need to bring it. Anyways, they didn't this year. So I was getting ready to set up and whatever. And then all of a sudden, I just sort of see like a crowd forming behind me, and I'm like, that got me thinking. And I look at the guy, I'm like, I think I know who he is. The way that like you can sort of just tell because there was a crowd of people lining up with Star Wars memorabilia, Star Wars books, and so I'm like, I recognize Air the Force cover. They wouldn't have put me, diagonal behind like right next to Timothy Zahn, would they? And then sure enough, they did. So I don't know. I felt like there was. My point is that the entire weekend I saw a whole crowd of people fanboying out with Timothy Zahn, and I was just like, I mean, I'll get him to sign some books, but I don't want to be too overbearing. But it was cool. I got to talk with him a little bit when we were all setting up. So that is fun. And I think I'm all caught up on questions. Okay, cool. So there are two things I wanted to go over. First of all, we have Devin's Kickstarter is officially started. And yes, I did sign up for it. So that is that right there. So Devin, sorry. Devin has a Kickstarter up and running right now. If you out there happen to like dark fantasies, she is a wonderful author who is working or who will have a duology coming out, and it's pretty cool. Not a fan of book Kickstarters. All right, well, that's a shame. I don't know. I feel like I should at some point do a Kickstarter. Shannon ST Houston is like the queen of Kickstarters. Every time I talk to her, she's working on a Kickstarter, and it feels like it is a great way to get the things you need to publish a book, because I am definitely hesitant when I go back in and start publishing my fourth book because I need to get editors, I need to get artists, I need to, that's about all that I need to pay for at that point. But it does feel very daunting when you look at like $1,000 to $2,000 price tag for something which will take a very long time to recoup that loss. So, well, thank you, Richard. I appreciate that. So I backed SD Houston's books. I backed Devin's book. Well, duology, so books. I feel like I do it here and there. So I want to help out other people. And then bouncing back to the Awesome Con. I had one other note here that I want to talk about. So I will save it for after the first break. So for those of you who are new here, what I normally do is I give questionable writing advice through running metaphors. But because I have fallen far behind on my writing goals for the year, I've shifted to doing productivity sprints. So I'm going to spend the next 30 minutes doing writing. If you want, you can do whatever you want. Some people fold laundry. I think my wife is about to be upstairs working on dinner. Well, not now, but during one of the later iterations. So I do a 30-minute productivity sprint. I do a 20-minute productivity sprint, and then I end with a 20-minute productivity sprint. So we are about to start with the 30 minutes. And yeah, I hope that you all are out there. You can, I don't know, work out or do whatever. Yes, I am also quite exhausted. Today was just a rough day at work. Not because work itself, but just because 3 days of Awesome Con just wears me out. Anyways, for those of you out there, feel free to be productive. Feel free to just let me run on mute. I don't, it would be awesome if you were working on something or being productive or whatever. But if you're here, you're here, and that's cool. That's pretty much how I feel on a Monday. So let's get things started then. All right, so we have the first 30-minute countdown going right there, and then we have the second 20-minute countdowns going right there. And yes, this is my previous dog who I still do tributes for during the productivity sprints. And I think that's everything. Yeah. So I am working on close to the climax of my story. Well, it's a spoiler alert, is kind of a pyramid thing. So you have one character POV, one character POV, one character POV, one character POV, and then I work back down. So that is how I'm doing the climax of my story. I had a really great idea for the entire ending to my story, which, wow, it's like there's two Richards here. People love causing chaos in the chats. Anyways, so work up my way up, work my way down, and then we'll have sort of the closing details for the story. But I am trying to have things go slightly differently than they have for my first 3 books. Anyways, I will see you all in 30 minutes, and hopefully I will finish this chapter because I think I'm close to being done. So I'm going to reread where I'm working on, and I'm ignoring chat for the moment, but I will see you all in 30 minutes. So I'm going on mute. All right, and we are back. So I got about 460 words in there. I was doing some background stuff, setting things up beforehand. Wow, Richard, you are almost up to 2,000 words. That is awesome. So 733 in the 30 minutes, and then 1,100 throughout the day. That is great. Way to go. It is certainly an awesome way to start off the week. So, really quickly, I will get into the second story from AwesomeCon. Then we'll go into the middle 20-minute sprint. Anyways, so Friday was a very slow day. I think I only sold one book, which was, kind of demoralizing to say the least. And Saturday was starting off a little bit slowly, but there were definitely some lulls. And during one of the lulls, this woman came by, and just when I was feeling down about people who were, maybe walking by too quickly to talk, or they just didn't seem like they were interested in my story, or they wanted a full complete series, which will take me very long time to finish. Anyways, this wonderful woman came by, and she was one of the few people who bought book number 3 because she had actually met me the previous year and I bought books 1 and 2. So she was so excited to get books 1 and 2, or she enjoyed books 1 and 2 so much that she decided to get book 3 here, and she was really excited to hang out, and we talk for a minute or two. But she is also a Columbia, Maryland local, and we had I have a fun scene that takes place at the Columbia Mall in book 2, even though the story is mostly in a nebulous place. Anyways, it was really just reinvigorating to talk to somebody who was so excited to see the book, to get book number 3. And so I want to get book number 4 out there by AwesomeCon next year. I have no idea if I'll be able to make it. I have a 1-year timeline. I mean, even if I finish this book in the next 2 months, I would still want to do a complete pass on it, which will take 6. And then I have the editing to do, and then it will be very, very tight for me based on the schedule and based on how much I'm capable of writing. But it is possible and it is doable. And so I want to definitely work to try and get a book out there for AwesomeCon. Now, if AwesomeCon is early next year, maybe in March, that would kind of screw me over. But I think I can get something done in April. So that would be really cool. Let me see. Sorry, I'm going to grab the word count right now. So I have, it's a bit deceiving, but I have about 15 more chapters to write, except these chapters are in theory short. Now, that being said, I have 55,000 words written, and the way my story is going, the projection is going to be about 68,000 words total. Again, I've been really bad about having these chapters be really short. They have been very long. And so anyways, after that, I would want to build in a nice buffer of about 20 more thousand words after I finish the story. So I don't think I'll be able to make it next year for AwesomeCon to get book 4 out there, but I would absolutely love to do it. Anyways, that's my little thing there that I wanted to talk about from AwesomeCon. It was a fun story where I got to meet another excited person. And I don't know if I can get it out next summer. Maybe I can just mail it to her and figure that out that way. I don't know. I'll have to figure it out. See how things go. See how my writing progress is. Anyways, that is the fun story from AwesomeCon that I wanted to say. So it was just really nice to find somebody who enjoyed the writing and came back a year later to try and get the 3rd book. So I feel like I owe it to her. I feel like I owe it to the other people who are anxiously awaiting the book to not give up on it, and to not give up on the story, and to, oh, of course I signed the book. Yeah. So I mean, 69,000 words would be nice. I don't want the 4th book to be significantly shorter than the other ones, and significantly shorter would be about 10,000 words shorter. So my goal is about 85,000 words, maybe 85 I think is a good range. So I can aim for 85,000. And actually, that is a great question. So I am going to really quickly figure this out, and then we can start up the second sprint. So I'm going to figure out how many words are in all my books. And let's see really quickly. So in the meantime, how is everybody doing this weekend? Because I've been talking the whole time, obviously. Richard, you're working on your fantasy series and you finished Act 2, I want to say last week. So how are things going there? Oh, don't worry about it. I know it's late. I am absolutely appreciative of you being here. And I fully understand someone who needs to get their full rest because that is me. And so I never think worse about anybody for ducking out or for leaving early or whatever. Sleep is a precious, precious commodity. And so if you're tired, just, take a nap or go to bed early or whatever. So, okay. So book 2 is 89. We'll round up and say 90,000 words. Book 1 is 96. Book 2 is 90. And book 3 is 92. Yeah. So I really need to push to get to at least 90 for book 4. I think that'll be ideal, which means I need about 20,000 words. Well, probably 25,000 words because I'm going to end up cutting words when I go through my edits. That's usually how I go. That's usually what I'm doing, just based on the nature of the way I write. So anyways, I will start up sprint number 2, and I will see you all in 20 minutes. So that way we can get in some more good writing. And welcome back, everyone. I finished the chapter, so that means let me get the actual numbers. Sorry. I did. Oh, I did some editing before then. So let me see here. Wait, I wrote a lot more than I thought I did, I guess. Okay, yeah. So 700 words. That's what I got for 2 writing sessions. Good and bad, which means that the chapter overall is boop, 1669. All right. So we have chapter 20. Everything's out of order. 1669. I will need to fix this. And I will do that. Well, I'll normalize everything during the next sprint. So there we go. Awesome. Devin, hey, thank you for joining in. Nice. 456 words. I like the sound of that. That is awesome. I did promote your Kickstarter earlier, but I will promote again. Do you have anything to say about it or anything along those lines? Because I was just saying how all I said was that it is a great, that you are a great dark fantasy writer, and that this is to help support your upcoming Kickstarter, and that you can get the ebooks for your duology. So it's a lot of cool things going on. But if you want to do your own pitch, you can feel free to put something in the comments. I am going to get the dust out my eye, and then I'm going to do a little prep work and start the next chapter. So yeah, that's all I've got. Cool. Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot there. I'm just going to nice. That's awesome. It's been less than a week because it was out on like the second or something like that. So way to go. That's really cool. And yeah, I'm going to get started with the third and final sprint, and that way I can get ready for dinner afterwards. So Devin, I really do wish you the best for your Kickstarter, and um, yeah, I'm going to get back to writing, but feel free to say anything you want, to post anything about it, and to hmm, oh, sorry, my neighbor sent me something. Let's go to Kickstarter. Have the link up. Don't have it up anymore. I'm going to get it really quickly. Hmm. Ooh, baked spaghetti. I like the sound of that. So yeah, for those of you, it's an epic dark fantasy, and I will see you all on the other side of 20 minutes before I close out for the day. Good luck all, and enjoy. Awesome. So I finished up the previous chapter. I prepped for the new chapter, and I'm all ready to go. I'm about to go eat dinner, so I will see you all in a week. Again, if you are new here, thank you for joining in. I hope you continue showing up and watching these videos next week and whenever. And I hope that you were able to find something to be productive for, or if not, that you just had me on while you were scrolling through whatever TikTok, Instagram thing you're looking at, or just making dinner. I don't know. I'm here talking. I'll be here every week. I'll be here next week at 6 p.m. I'm also going to continue to write my story, and eventually book 4 will get done. Hopefully within a year. We'll see. Um, But anyways, in the meantime, check out Devin's Kickstarter, and I will see you all next Monday at 6 p.m. where we can write together again. Take care and have a wonderful, wonderful week. Book 4. Yes, thank you, Devin. It will be out soon enough. I'll do what I can. Bye for now, and I'll see you next week.